Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
As the world witnesses the atrocities that are going on in Gaza and, in Palestine at large, Dr. Shabir, we turn to the media to try and find out what's going on, to understand, contextualize what's happening. And we've been very disappointed. The Muslim community, the Arab community, the Palestinian community has been very disappointed by the coverage that they found in Western media. It seems like all the basic journalistic principles like honesty, fairness, verification, all of those kind of thrown out the window in this conflict. And, it has happened in the past as well, Dr. Shabir. It's not just like this is a new occurrence, but this incident really brought it to light. It made it so obvious, the hypocrisy of Western media. So I thought maybe we could comment on that a little bit.
Yeah. So what we're finding largely is that the narrative is coming from a particular direction. People working in newsrooms and so on are all on edge because nobody dares to say anything that may sound like a criticism of Israel and its military operations in attacking Gaza. And so people are on it. Some people have lost their jobs as a result of this, and many more are just simply cautious. And it's not only Muslims and Arabs who are feeling that this whole coverage is unfair. We see from the massive protests going on around the world that people of all faiths or people of no faith even, but they all have the common sense that this war is unjust. It needs to stop. There needs to be a permanent ceasefire, and they're all appalled at the way in which this coverage, the news covers these events, not highlighting enough the atrocity that is there in killing such a large number of civilians within just a few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Shabir, the Western media doesn't even seem concerned with the lives of Palestinians. It's almost like it doesn't matter if they're dead or alive. Somehow they're all complicit and they're all criminals, they're all terrorists. So this is really alarming to people to think that everybody could be painted with that brush. And there's a sense in terms of just the way the headlines are being portrayed. For example, Dr. Shabir, when it refers to Palestinians being killed, it uses a passive voice. So we've seen that time and again, that, Palestinians were killed.
Yes.
But when it refers to Israelis being killed, it says, Hamas did this or Palestinians did this,
Yes.
So it's using the very direct voice. So there's a clear difference in the way that Palestinians are depicted. And it's very unfortunate because you expect that the Western media, especially at this time in 2023, would be, come to some sort of a reckoning with all the incidents, the anti-Black racism and the indigenous sort of justice that we've been thinking about over the last few years. You think that the Western media would have changed by now and it would have been a little bit more fair. But this incident really brought home to us that no, it's, we're back to square one. We still got the same problem. And despite all of the work that Muslims have done over the years to try and work with the media and to try to improve and to try to bring people into newsrooms, into newspapers, it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Yes. So what is especially making things difficult for a fair reporting in our present circumstance is maybe two factors. One is that Hamas has been declared a terrorist organization in many modern Western countries, or at least some modern Western countries. So within this circumstance, it's hard to say anything that may seem as though you are supporting Hamas in any way, shape, or form. Now, on the second factor is that criticism of Israel has been thought by some to amount to anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm.
So that then makes it very difficult for anyone to say, okay, Israel's killing of the civilians is wrong. So these two factors combined, have resulted in the situation which we see, that there's hardly a fair and balanced coverage. You mentioned the way in which the passive voice is used when the Palestinians are declared dead, whereas the active is being used when it is said that Israel was attacked and so many were killed. Mm-hmm. So the editor of a prominent Toronto newspaper, trying to explain how this came about, said, well, the journalists, putting the headline after they've already used killed. They don't want to repeat the word killed, so they use an alternative. But, if they wanted, they could have reversed it.
Yes.
So they could have said, so many Israelis died, and also they, in retaliation, killed so many Palestinians. And then we see the number. So every time the number of Palestinians were killed is mentioned, either before or after it, almost in the same paragraph, it'll be mentioned that, this all started when Hamas killed so many Israelis on October 7th, as if the history of the world began on October 7th. And there's no contextualizing of this whole phenomenon of this ongoing conflict that has lasted 100 years, and of which October 7th is one manifestation of that. And the total devastation that we're witnessing in Gaza, how this has been playing out again and again over the decades past. And how it continues to play out where there is no Hamas, for example, in the West Bank.
Exactly. Yes.
Such that even when there is a truce, such that there is a temporary ceasefire in Gaza, it seems that, the
Palestinians are getting arrested, they're getting interrogated, they're getting killed, in the West Bank.
Yes. And there too, you've used the passive voice because we're all on edge,
yes.
right? Because, so we could all face reprimand and difficulties, and we're trying our best in this difficult circumstance to be fair and just and call out the wrongs where they are. But even we have limitations, and we have to acknowledge that.
And Dr. Shabir, I think this moment is ripe for the Muslim Media Hub, which we are developing, because we need to tell our stories, and we need to speak up and rescue our image and share our narrative, our stories with the wider world. I feel like people are open to it, with the advent of social media and people telling their stories, citizen journalists. I feel like now is the moment where Muslims need to seize control of the media, do their thing, and hopefully people will change their minds as a result.
Yes, and this is why we need, people to be active and to be supportive of the greater cause. We cannot do this alone. I myself have faced, personal difficulties, possibly because of, the positions I take. But we need like-minded people to come together, band together, be in the rallies, be in the protests, but beyond that, to support the good cause of broadcasting good messages that are based on fairness and justice to the world. And, for this reason, we want the Muslim Media Hub to get going and to promote more such good messages as we do here on this show.
We'll leave it at that. Thank you, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. We have some exciting news to share with you.
As you know, Let the Quran Speak has been on TV screens and social media for 22 years.
We've been reaching people all around the world, spreading positivity and good, and helping people experience the beauty of Islam and the accomplishments of Muslims.
We've been shooting in this very space for the past 2 decades.
And now, with the help of Allah, we're about to get the keys to Muslim Media Hub.
If you like what we're doing, you're gonna love Muslim Media Hub even more.
Because it's the next step up.
Think new TV shows, podcasts, social media content, and film.
We'll have new talent, more youth, and a lot more space and resources to do what we love. Spread the message of Allah.
Our Muslim Media Hub costs $2.4 million.
And for that, we need to raise $300,000. Please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help establish Muslim Media Hub so we can do this.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be of benefit to the Muslim community long after we are gone.
Thank you, and may Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always.
Assalamu alaikum.